I want to consider the strange tale that's come out from the House of Windsor involving the retention of titles, thwarted passports, surname speculation, and the lingering hope that children born in Montecito might one day rejoin the monarchy as, quote, working royals. The phrase working royal is frankly a woke oxymoron. It makes as much sense as democratic autocracy or sustainable coal. The whole concept is absurd. Monarchy by its nature is hereditary. It's not performance based. It's not based on how many hours you put in. You are born to it or you are not. To suggest that one's value in the institution derives from hours logged, like shift work, is both modernist nonsense and institutionally corrosive. We're now told that Prince Harry, who has already burned bridges, set fire to the ashes and danced on the ruins, considered renaming himself and his children Spencer, surname Switch indeed, apparently to honour his mother and repudiate the House of Windsor. We're also told that the proposal came during a meeting with Earl Spencer, who was reportedly enthusiastic, but later described by The Guardian as offering legal caution. Had this change occurred, it would have been a full circle repudiation of the King, Diana's family name replacing Mountbatten Windsor. That's not just branding, it's symbolic regicide. But why stop there? Why not Prince Archie of Malibu or Her Serene Highness of Lilibet the Californian? The fact remains, titles are either meaningful or they are not. Either your royal status derives from your ancestry, from your birth, or it becomes a kind of glossy lifestyle label, something between a LinkedIn credential and an Etsy shop banner. Shopify. Now, the phrase working royal, a term so recent it would have baffled Queen Victoria. Traditionally, the royals exist above the phrase. They don't have to work to be royal. In fact, being royal is about not working. They're born into a constitutional symbolism, not economic productivity. Suggesting that Archie and Lilibet might one day choose to support the monarchy as working royals implies a kind of royal internship scheme, HRH on probation. Are they to be assessed annually on key performance indicators? Will Princess Lilibet be offered flexible hours and a pension plan? The palace has, over recent years, tried to redefine royal status as public service, but one cannot bureaucratise, is that a word? Blue blood without hollowing out the crown. To quote Jenny Bond, I really don't understand why, having extricated themselves from a life they did not enjoy, and in which Harry has publicly spoken of feeling trapped, they would want to give their children the option of rejoining. It makes no sense. Well, of course it makes sense. It may not make sense to somebody who is indulging in some sort of wordplay using the term working royal, but it makes sense in terms of being royal. They don't lose their royal status simply because they're in California. They're still in the line of succession. This bureaucracy of titles, British passports, we learn, were allegedly delayed because of the inclusion of HRH titles and the surname Sussex. The implication being that a cabal within the Home Office, perhaps operating under guidance from the palace, or maybe operating at the time under Suella Braverman, who stopped after all. She was responsible for stopping the police protection for Prince Harry, chose to sabotage the paperwork as a form of symbolic disapproval. Eventually, after 5 months and the looming threat of a GDPR legal scandal, always the preferred weapon of the disgruntled Duke, the passports arrived, but not before the children's titles were effectively used as legal leverage, as if the monarchy were a brand name and Harry its embittered franchisee. Meanwhile, Meghan Markle has repurposed royal motherhood into an Instagram thing with a lifestyle marketing, and she did this video the other day of herself twerking before giving birth. And people have speculated, that isn't possible. That isn't physically possible. Lilibet, aged 4, has reportedly already participated in jam tasting and honey harvesting for her mother's brand, as ever. Let me say, with the full academic seriousness, that this is not the job of a princess. If your HRH is being used to sell preserves, the monarchy is being turned into a condiment. And while we're on the subject of reputational damage, we cannot ignore the farcinerous and increasingly unhinged tirades of Lady Colin Campbell, Lady C.
Somebody as flagrant a rule breaker and as flagrantly... Meghan is a publicity whore and a publicity hound and a publicity freak.
I think that's frankly as much of Lady C as we can possibly stomach. This self-anointed guardian of royal truth has produced a series of vicious videos replete with viperous language that smear Meghan with the zeal of a 17th century witchfinder general. These clips, broadcast to a frothing online audience, resemble nothing so much as a verbal auto-da-fe. One need not be a Sussex apologist to find them grotesque. This whole saga, from titles and passports to surnames and soft launches, shows us the incoherence at the heart of modern monarchy. You cannot be both a symbol and a brand, both sacred and streamed, both apolitical and performative. To dangle the idea of Archie and Lilibet as potential working royals is like offering them a ghost job in a vanished firm. The very idea is a contradiction in terms. Royalty is either divine right or it's nothing. And until the palace accepts that, we will continue to see this parade of ambiguity, hypocrisy, and marketing theatre where royal status is traded not for service but for attention. We have to call it what it is. The monarchy, like magic, only works if you don't ask how the trick is done. Once the wires show, the illusion dies.